I just want to briefly go over, uh, some things we saw around the NFL yesterday, starting with the Shedeur. Well, yesterday, Sunday actually, starting with the Shedeur Sanders um, situation, NFL debut situation, all that. I think he obviously, numbers wise, he played awful. He came into the game after Dylan Gabriel got hurt. Um, and the Ravens beat the Browns 23-16. And as you can see from those stats, he did not play very well by any means. He had one of the worst ratings any quarterback has had this season. And I saw a stat earlier today that if he spiked the ball on every pass attempt, he would have had a higher rating. So that goes to show a lot. Um, but I think there is context to the fact that his stats were that bad. I think the Cleveland Browns organization, first off, is a joke. I think that they are one of the worst run organizations in the NFL. And reason being is the fact that they have set Shador up to fail. You clearly see that they did not want to draft him. You know they did not want to draft him. And based off of how they've handled the situation with Shador Sanders this year, you can tell they just do not want him on this team. They don't, which I don't understand why they don't trade him. I don't understand why they don't make it known instead of just saying that, Dylan Gabriel is the better option, which we all know Dylan Gabriel is not the better option. He was not the better quarterback in college. He was not the better option coming out of college. He is not the better option for this team. All when you see players like Miles Garrett and David Njoku and Jerry Jeudy and all these guys advocating for Shador Sanders when they drafted him, and not one of them advocated for Dylan Gabriel, that just says a lot. That shows who the locker room wants. And when you disrespect your team like that and put a guy like Dylan Gabriel, you started Joe Flacco, he got traded. Then you go with Dylan Gabriel. So George Sanders starts off as the third string quarterback, and you then proceed when he's the backup quarterback. You don't use him in practice to get some reps with the ones. How is he supposed to get any rapport with the ones, knowing that you have a fluid quarterback situation that he very well could end up getting snaps at some point in the season? You don't let him take snaps with the ones in practice. Not even in practice. You don't let him get some rapport with those guys. The first snaps he took with the ones were the snaps you saw in this game on Sunday. Obviously, there's no rapport, there's no chemistry. And the Ravens did as good as a job as you can do against a rookie, and they made it uncomfortable for him. They knew the situation. The league knows. And it's a shame how Kevin Stefanski and this front office has handled this situation. There is no point that a backup quarterback should not, that the number two quarterback should not be getting reps with the ones. If Dylan Gabriel gets hurt, which he did, Shador is your starter, which he is going to be this Sunday against the Raiders. And now you give him a week to prepare for his first NFL start, and this is the first time he's getting a full practice week with the ones. It's absolutely ridiculous. And you've seen the way that they have handled this situation from the draft. Shedeur Sanders was one of the most accurate quarterbacks in college, playing behind one of the worst offensive lines in college football at Colorado. Everyone knows how bad that offensive line was. They had some good skill position players. They had some good receivers. Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn, LeJontay Wester, Amarion Miller. They had some good weapons the couple years that he was there. But the offensive line was horrendous. They had next to no running game. So everybody knew what they were going to do coming out of the game. They're going to pass the ball. A lot of screens, a lot of deep shots, and he hit them. He completed, if I'm not mistaken, almost 70% of his passes in those 2 years. He was a great, accurate, and a very, very accurate quarterback in college football. And everyone will say, oh, he didn't win anything. Okay. But the only reason we saw Colorado play football games and we would stay up at 10 o'clock at night to watch Colorado is because of Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. No one else. Look at Colorado now. Have you stayed up to watch a Colorado game this year? I haven't. It matters. And everyone was expecting him to be either the first or second quarterback taken off the board. Obviously Cam Ward was the consensus number one pick. I still believe that Shedeur Sanders will end up being a better quarterback if put in the right situation rather than Cam Ward. Obviously, Cam Ward is more talented, but I think Cam Ward reminds me a lot of Anthony Richardson. Now, a lot can change. Cam Ward definitely has a high upside, but he gives me a lot of Anthony Richardson. Big arm, but does not really process the field well. And that college style and you saw it with Caleb Williams last year too, holding on to the football will get you hurt, will lead to sacks. These guys are way too good in the NFL. They are way too fast. You cannot hold on to the football. All that extending plays and throwing across your body that is very, very difficult to do in the NFL. And guys are not running scot-free in the NFL. Now, you see Caleb Williams with a really good play caller in Ben Johnson. Really good scheme, good weapons around him. He has had a really good second year in the NFL to the point that the Bears are 7-3. Shedeur Sanders is not as talented as those guys, but I think he's just as smart, if not smarter, than those guys as far as IQ goes with reading defenses. I truly believe that. And if you look, I posted a short. You can look on the page on this YouTube page. I posted a short not too long ago, a couple hours ago, speaking and showing clips of how bad that offensive line played, and pretty much the 16 passes that he had, he was pressured on maybe 14 of them. And the couple that he was not pressured on, that he had time, he delivered great, accurate throws. Shedeur Sanders isn't really a mobile quarterback. He can extend plays, but he's not really a mobile quarterback. He's not a Lamar Jackson. He's not a Jalen Hurts. He's not a Josh Allen. He's not one of those guys. He's more of a pocket passer quarterback. So, and when you don't have an offensive line, it's very difficult to do that, especially as a rookie when you have not have reps with the guys you're throwing the football to, which is a joke. It is an absolute joke. And truth be told, with how poorly his stats are, the Browns had a chance to win the game. He delivered a beautiful throw into the end zone. It was good defense, but he delivered a beautiful throw in the end zone that was dropped that would have tied the game up. And he did miss on the pass prior in the back of the end zone after he was scrambling to his left. He missed that throw. But you can see that when he had time, he was going through his progressions, reading the field, and trying to deliver the ball accurately. And he was making good throws. It's just guys on the Browns don't get separation. They just don't. The offensive line does not let you be comfortable as a quarterback because they are so bad. The reason why the Browns even have a chance to win games every single week and why they always say that they're a quarterback away is because of how awesome that defense is. That defense is outstanding, led by Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward. Like, they are so good that the fact that we say they are one quarterback away, and I do believe that they are a quarterback away from competing, especially in that division. But the problem is you need a quarterback that's going to get reps with the ones, and you need an organization that is going to stand by their quarterback. Like, when an organization doesn't believe in you, it's really not going to work out. You're better off just getting traded or getting released and getting picked up to a situation where he is going to benefit. And there's a lot of other teams that passed up on him that I was very surprised. He said he didn't want to go to the Ravens, and he said he didn't want to go to Eagles. And there was reports that came out that Sanders tanked some interviews because he didn't want to go to certain teams, aka the Giants. He didn't want to go to these teams. And did that hurt him? I do believe it did. But that doesn't mean that he shouldn't have been a first-round draft pick. The New Orleans Saints could have used him. The Pittsburgh Steelers could have used him. And yes, I know Aaron Rodgers is there, but you're not going to have a backup plan for Aaron Rodgers. Mason Rudolph isn't the answer. And the Steelers have a better situation than the Cleveland Browns. The Steelers, you pass up on him. The Saints passed off on him multiple times. Cleveland passed up on him multiple times until they were forced to draft him in the 5th round, which is ridiculous. From a first-round talent, which I think he is, to a 5th-round slide, and you go to an organization that really didn't want you. And I believe it has to do a lot with who his dad is. Primetime is one of the more polarizing figures. As much as I'm a fan, I am a fan of Prime, But I have a Prime hoodie that my brother-in-law gave me. Like I wear it often. I'm a big fan of them. Big fan of the Sanders family. I think that they are good for football. College football hates them. The NFL hates them because I'm pretty sure he said he doesn't want. I know he said he's never going to go coach in the NFL. And his son Shedeur, trying to make a name for himself, does have that level of confidence in himself, which he rightfully should have, and every player should have. And they don't like him for it. They think he's too cocky. I don't believe that. I believe he's just confident in his ability because he knows what he can do, and he's not getting a fair shot to do it. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to see as a fan who enjoys the game, who is a fan of him. It's frustrating to see what the Cleveland Browns are doing, and they are just a poorly run organization. There's a lot of poorly run organizations in sports. There's a lot of poorly run organizations in the NFL. The Browns are probably at the top of that list, along with the New York Jets. They're abysmal at what they do. They never get anything right. They never get anything right. And they've drafted good defensive players. They've gotten really good defensive players. But the offense is the reason why this team has yet to compete. And I don't believe that if Shedeur Sanders stays, that he is even going to be the answer there. Reason being is because your own coach and front office doesn't believe in you. So they're not going to put you in positions to succeed, which is a shame. I think the Cleveland Browns should move on for Shedeur Sanders at the end of this season, even now. But obviously, trade deadline's over. But they should have removed from him and part ways with him. Let him go to a more favorable situation. You don't want him. We were forced to draft you. We're going to trade you to a situation where it might benefit you more. That's what I think needs to happen. And it's truly a shame to see organizations get down on their players that they drafted, and not give them a fair shot when they are most likely going to have to get snaps at some point because that quarterback situation is a train wreck in Cleveland. Everyone knew Joe Flacco wasn't going to last through the season, and everyone knows football, and even they know themselves. Dylan Gabriel isn't the answer. He is not the answer at quarterback. Shedeur Sanders was not given a fair shot, and the Cleveland Browns front office should be ashamed of themselves, truly. And if they need to do themselves a favor and get rid of him, trade him. Trade him to somewhere that he's going to benefit and you're going to benefit because now you don't have the pressure of just needing to play him. Because that's what it is now. You have to play Shedeur now. He's going to start on Sunday, and I think a favorable matchup for him against the Las Vegas Raiders. But you still got to deal with Max Crosby on that defense. That's pretty much it. You've seen what the Dallas Cowboys did to them last night. If Kevin Stefanski dials up a game plan that is going to be beneficial for Shedeur Sanders, I think the Cleveland Browns can win that game, and Shedeur Sanders can look pretty good. I'm not going to say he's going to look elite. I'm not going to say he's going to go out there and throw for 300 yards, but he's going to look very good in his first start. If Cleveland Browns just take the L, you got to start him. Let me just put him in a position to be successful. Get the ball out of his hands quick. Get the ball in Jerry Jeudy's hands. Get the ball in David Njoku's hands. Run the football. Let your defense work. Run the football. Make sure Shedeur Sanders has easy completions. And if there's a situation where he's getting blitzed on third down, let him throw the ball. Because Shedeur Sanders is one of the smartest quarterbacks coming out of that college, if not the smartest. That's what everyone during the draft process was saying. He is very cerebral at the line of scrimmage. He can diagnose the defense very well. I just don't think that the Cleveland Browns are going to do that, though, which is unfortunate. They're not going to put him in a favorable situation. It's unfortunate. It truly is. It truly is unfortunate, man. And let me know what you guys think in the comments of if it's, Shedeur is going to be the issue, or if it's Kevin Stefanski, or if it's the front office, or whoever it is. Comment your thoughts. It's around the NFL, you see a lot of situations that like that where everyone's looking for that guy at quarterback. Everyone if you don't have a good quarterback, you will not win. You will not win if you don't have a good quarterback. You need an above average quarterback to win in the NFL. Quarterback play is the reason why the NFL teams that struggle most of the time. It's because of the organization and because of the quarterback play. Look at how many teams around the league you're like, yo, if they get a quarterback, man, it's over. If they get a quarterback, it's over. If they get the Chicago Bears, the Washington Commanders before this year, obviously they're dealing with a lot of injuries. Look at how many teams are one quarterback away. And truthfully, there are more teams that quarterback can in a different situation. Like look at Baker Mayfield. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers after Brady were just like, what's going to happen? What's happening now? What's going to happen without Brady? Before Brady was Jameis Winston, and that you know how that turned out. It was like, yo, we're wasting Mike Evans' talent. We're wasting Chris Godwin. We're wasting a great defense. They went out and got Tom Brady, got a Super Bowl, and then look at Baker Mayfield now. All he needed was a change of scenery. All he needed was a change of scenery. Carolina didn't work out. Cleveland didn't work out, obviously. Like, all it takes, Sam Darnold, as poorly as he played on Sunday, but look at the revival he had last year in Minnesota. And then he gets a contract for Seattle and goes to Seattle and has them as one of the best offenses in the NFL. Scheme matters for these guys, man. Scheme and situation, matters for almost every quarterback in the NFL.